Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing really well right now, and I'm excited to talk about this topic because it's something that really opened up my own healing practice and actually teaching practice to other people. And I hope this is going to be helpful for you, and that is, what is it that makes you different from everybody else offering similar products to you? Whether it's healing, nutrition, massage, any one of those things that's, something that is an alternative medicine or healing practice of some sort.
I have interviewed hundreds of healers, and as a group, these loving, generous, and kind individuals want to improve the welfare of our planet, affecting millions, if not billions, of lives. Amongst the frustrations these amazing healers express during our conversations are the ability to attract stable income to sustain themselves, the loss of their life force energy when working with others, and even the lack of confidence or the fear of failing because of the responsibility of the well-being of others. I've had these very same frustrations myself during my 30-year healing history. When the calling to heal got so strong, I had to retire from my 40-year physics career. I needed to replace my six-figure salary fast. Standard sales and business techniques didn't always work for me as a highly sensitive introvert. Through trial and error and studying with many coaches, I developed a 4-step system that replaced my salary within 5 months. I've helped others develop their successful healing businesses, and I can help you too. I'm Dr. Anastasia Chopelas. Listen in to discover more. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm excited to talk about this topic, especially because it made all the difference in the world. So when I first started working in the healing world full time, I kind of downplayed my science background, and I thought that doing that was going to help. Well, I was almost, it was this dichotomy of what I was doing before as a physicist and jumping into the healing world. So my former colleagues would roll their eyes and go like, "You really do that? Oh my gosh." And it was almost like I didn't want to show myself. It was kind of like, Clark Kent hiding his abilities. That was the way I was doing it. I was hiding my abilities, including my clair skills and any other highly intuitive, being able to heal, speaking to people that have passed on and things like that. So the thing that was difficult for me was to live in this very left-brained world of numbers and science and facts, and have my hand also in the right-brained world of, concepts and ideals and, understanding our world, the world of energy, the way that I understand it. So I got kind of chastised from different coaches and different people that were teaching me how to market myself. And they said, "No, you have to bring that background forward." And I felt kind of embarrassed, like I was bragging. And so now I just sort of say it kind of matter-of-factly, and I don't try to make a big deal out of the fact that, I've given talks to basically hundreds of people in the room at the same time about the topic that I used to research, which was all about vibrations of matter and mostly minerals. And I would take these minerals and I would compress them to very, very high pressures and measure how their vibrations changed, and even measured how the materials changed. Sometimes they would go through phase changes, meaning that their structures and their bonding were completely different once you've applied pressure to them. So, and this was all in the world of physics and geophysics, and we talked about how the Earth evolved over time and how it got formed and how all the layers on the Earth got formed. So it was all like this kind of practical, down-to-earth kind of thing to do, where healing was completely different. So after I got chastised for saying maybe you should combine the two and talk about healing in terms of science, and maybe you should call your business Scientific Healing. So I paid a lot of money for somebody to tell me that, but after that day, I embraced it and I talked more and more about it. So that's what makes me unique. So that's what makes me stand out. Like, it's like I'm wearing a big giant purple hat in a room full of people wearing dark suits, right? So that's what you want to be. Be the one person in the giant purple hat where everybody else is wearing dark and black suits, right? You want to stand out and not blend in. So now here are the questions you can ask yourself is where are you different? And it doesn't have to be like remarkable. It just has to be something that you do that's different from other people, right? Something that you do, right? Something that you went through. It could be your epiphany story, right? Going from where you were to going to a lot of doctors who couldn't help you. That was part of my story too. Going to all these doctors that couldn't help you, then running across alternative methods, learning a lot about nutrition, let's say, learning about certain movements that stimulate energy flow in the body, and maybe even certain stretching to help you manage a lot of pain or help you with migraines, for example. Migraines can be really tough for people. Something that you've done that's different than other people, right? And the more narrow you can focus that down, the better. Like I used to have a giant fibroid tumor, and I could have, created an entire business about that, because there are a lot of women that don't want to have hysterectomies and they want to figure out how to deal with their tumors and get out of the pain and the excessive bleeding and the anemia and really keep their body intact. And I wrote out several articles and I published them for free on the internet, and people started following them and doing that. And I could have continued to do that business along with energy healing, because I have actually treated people in my healing practice for fibroid tumors, and the tumors would shrink away. So that's an example of something that you've gone through that's unique, and you handled it in a unique way. And maybe your background, whatever it is that you're doing, maybe your background helped you get to the place. Like for me, my research background helped me figure out I dove deep into the medical literature, and I read it with a different eye because I have experience publishing my own papers and peer reviewing other papers and understanding how this whole process works, right? How you put out a hypothesis, because each paper that's published is actually a hypothesis. It's not fact. And then you can take those hypotheses and keep evolving them until you come to what you call as a scientific truth. So that was one of the things that I did. So what is it that you do that's different? Are you a manager? Do you manage things? Do you organize? Because organization is a really important, like I'm not that good at organizing. I organize up here, but my physical surroundings are less organized. Like my books back here, you can see they're organized according to what their content is, but they're not organized so they're like all the same height on each shelf, for example, right? So that organization creates energy flow. So you could add organization of some sort or other, whether it's cleaning out your kitchen or the rooms and so on, along with helping people heal. So there's something in there that you are doing that's completely unique to everyone else. And that is how you are going to offer yourself. So imagine that you're in this, you would rather be in a small blue ocean where you are unusual then in the Red Sea of a whole bunch of sameness. And it's how you define yourself. It could be a color that you're choosing. It could be, you could be targeting specifically a type of person. For example, there was a woman who was the wife of a big name sports star, right? So she had a specific set of needs in her married life because he was out getting a lot of attention, and he was out away from home a lot, and she couldn't follow him. So there was specific stresses in their marriage. So she would go around and talk to other sports wives to help heal their marriages, right? So she chose specifically people that were married to big star athletes. And it didn't matter whether it was a male or a female, but in her case, she was the female, and her husband was the one that was the big star. So she made quite a nice business in just working with sports figures and their families. And of course, it spread to other people, but she mainly focused on that because look at it. Look how many people there are across the country that are in sports, right? You have baseball, you have football, you have basketball, and then you have soccer and tennis, and it goes on. The list goes on and on, right? So you don't need to worry about, well, you're leaving off all these other people, right? You don't have to worry about that because they will eventually find you, right? So for me, because I was a professional and I understood how I needed to stay functioning in order for me to stay competitive, right? And so I focused on other professionals, people that had businesses that if they stopped functioning, their income would stop, their business would come to a crash, right? So that was one of my focuses. And, you have to figure out what your focus is. So one of the ways that I do this is that I sit down and write out a whole bio. So I wrote my background, how I got from point A to point B, why I wanted to do what I am doing now, what my process was from healing. So this was a long journey. It was a 10-year journey from where I was to becoming completely healthy again. I'd have these ups and downs. I'd be really sick and I'd come up and then I'd lose some of my health and then I'd have to figure that out and then I'd lose health again and I'd have to figure that out. If I were to tell you that whole story, you would be, asleep on the couch snoring because it's just too long. And so if you take that story and compact it into a few sentences, then it will help bring out that thing that you want to help other people with. And then lastly is what's really important to you and how it can work for others and why it would work for others. And really, what's your driving factor, right? What is driving you to want to help other people? For me, is watching my mother and my grandmother be sick, and then I got sick where I couldn't function anymore either, and I just said, no, it stops here. This is the last generation this is going to happen, right? And so my doing what I did has taught my children to take charge of their own health, because each of my children has their own issues. One has fibromyalgia, and the other one has a touch of that plus a dyslexia. So between the two of them, they both had challenges in their lives, and they now have overcome them. And now they each have children, so they are going to pass down what I gave to my children. And I received a lot of that from my dad, right? So he was also a problem solver. So what is it that you have in your family that's special? What is it? What's driving you? Why do you want to help other people? Because we don't want illness to collapse the family structure or to ruin the lives of those around you, right? So I hope that was helpful today. So again, your background, what your specific journey is, what the process is that you went through, not chronological, but the steps It doesn't have to be in a particular order, but the steps that you went through. Why is it important to you, and why do you want to help people? So that's all for now. I will see you in the next video, and it will be more about this topic to help you define who you're going to help, how you're going to help them, and how you can move forward in your business that helps other people. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me. If you found this message helpful, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up or a 5-star rating, and share it with your friends. To discover more about the 4-step system for attracting a generous income as a healer or an intuitive coach without burning out, sign up for my free training at www.highpaidhealers.com. I look forward to seeing you there and in the next video.